Lagos State to chart new course for HIV response at 7th National Council on AIDS. National Economic Council seeks improved operations for state emergency management agencies to tackle flooding. On the foreign scene, about 28 people die in Ukraine as wave of Russian strikes defies United States President ceasefire demand. And in sports, national athletics trials begin in Lagos ahead World Championship. And now the details. I am Mike James. The Lagos government, through the Lagos State AIDS Control Agency, LSACA, has announced its readiness to chart a new course for HIV response in Nigeria as it prepares to host the 7th National Council on AIDS amid dwindling partner support. Chief Executive Officer of LSACA, Folakemi Animashaw, in a statement said the 7th National Council on AIDS, NCA, is scheduled to take place from August 5 to 7. Animashaw explained that the National Council on AIDS, a pivotal event convened in collaboration with the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, will bring together key stakeholders in Nigeria's HIV response architecture to deliberate on innovative strategies, review national progress, and set the agenda for a more resilient and integrated HIV response. She said the event, themed Advancing National HIV Sustainability Agenda in the Changing Global Policy on AIDS, is timely and strategic, emphasizing the need for stakeholders to proactively respond to evolving global health priorities while maintaining the momentum of the national HIV response. Animashaw outlined several key initiatives planned for the gathering, which will convene stakeholders from across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to exchange best practices present, present research findings, and align efforts towards effective management and control of HIV and AIDS in the country. The Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, OTCI, has organized a training program aimed at enhancing the skills of officers from the Development Partnership Department in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. According to the Director General of OTCI, Toyi Andros Ademuyiwa, the initiative focuses on improving engagement with development partners and fostering essential soft skills, reinforcing OTCI's commitment to professional development and effective collaboration in development assistance. Andros Ademuyiwa explained that the training session brought together officers, equipping them with the necessary tools and strategies to effectively engage with development partners, emphasizing the importance of building strong relationships and fostering collaboration. The program is designed to achieve common developmental goals. The Customs Comptroller General Adewale Adeni has read the riot act to smugglers in Adamawa State and the entire country, warning that the service will no longer tolerate any attack or attempt to attack officers and men on and off duty. Speaking in Yola during a press conference over the recent attack that led to the serious injury of one of the officers of Operation Whirlwind, Adeni warned that his administration will be forced to take severe and drastic actions against any group that attempts to disrupt his men from their operations. Adeni, who was represented by the National Coordinator of Operation Whirlwind, Kehinde Ejibunu, said the attack took place in Majara Mubi, South Local Government area of Adamawa State. He noted that violent aggression against law enforcement personnel is a clear attempt to undermine the authority of the Nigeria Customs Service and destabilize the ongoing efforts to protect Nigeria's borders. And now to the rest of the stories. The National Economic Council, NEC, has called for the strengthening of state emergency management agencies, SEMAs, across the 36 states of the Federation and urged the Federal Ministry of Finance to release emergency funds to address impending flood effects. This was contained in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha. The Council's resolution came following a presentation by the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umar, on the country's 2025 flood preparedness and response initiatives during the Council's meeting. NEMA's presentation detailed its progress since 2024, saying it has strengthened SEMAs and established local emergency management committees, LEMCs, while activating the Emergency Coordination Forum involving military, police, and civil defense disaster response unit. The NEC therefore urged state governments to fully strengthen NEMA's, operationalize LEMCs, enforce fiscal planning laws and building code compliance, and institutionalize monthly environmental sanitation while prioritizing disaster preparedness funding in annual budgets. In a bid to curtail incessant industrial actions by trade unions, the federal government has approved the National Industrial Relations Policy, NIRP 2025, to check strikes. The scheme, as the government said, the contentious circular that precipitated the recent strike by health workers has been withdrawn. Briefing State House correspondent at the end of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, presided over by President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, explained that the new policy will regulate activities of trade unions. He said the National Industrial Relations Policy for the country stems from the need to have a guiding policy document aimed at fostering harmonious industrial relations within the workplace for both employers and employees. And in some foreign news, at least 28 people have died after a barrage of Russian drones and missiles struck several districts of Kyiv. Ukraine's Interior Ministry said 3 children aged 3, 6, and 17 were among the dead, with 159 others wounded in the attack, while an apartment block collapsed. Russian attacks have continued despite United States President Donald Trump's threat to impose tougher sanctions on Moscow if Vladimir Putin does not agree to a ceasefire by August 8. Over to sports news. Some of Nigeria's best track and field athletes at home and abroad will converge on the Yabatech Sports Ground from today through Sunday as the National Athletics Trials begin in Lagos. The 3-day national trials has been used by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, to select athletes who will represent Nigeria at next month's World Athletics Championships holding in Tokyo, Japan, and as well to select members of Team Nigeria for the CAA Region 2 Senior Athletics Championships to be held later this month in Accra. The trials will also be used to pick the contingent for the upcoming 2025 Islamic Solidarity Games to be held in November in Saudi Arabia. With a host of top athletes on parade, all eyes will be on world record holder in the women's 100 meters hurdle event, Tobi Amuso, and Olympic Games bronze medalist Ese Brune, who will be jumping alongside 2025 Africa Under 20 Championship gold medalist Pristina Ochonogo. And that was our news at noon. Just before we go, remember, speed throughs what kills. Please always avoid excessive speed. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, on Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website. It's www.trafficradio961.ng, and you can listen to Lagos Traffic Radio on my Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration organized a forum for women across the 57 local government and local council development areas in the state with a view to enhancing their productivity and economic growth? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, Here are the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos government, through the Lagos State AIDS Control Agency, LSACA, has announced its readiness to chart a new course for HIV response in Nigeria as it prepares to host the 7th National Council on AIDS amid dwindling partner support. The National Economic Council, NEC, has called for the strengthening of the state emergency management agencies, SEMA, across the 36 states of the Federation and urged the Federal Ministry of Finance to release emergency funds to address impending flooding effects. We also told you that at least 28 people have died after a barrage of Russian drones and missiles struck several districts of Kyiv. And in sports, some of Nigeria's best track and field athletes at home and abroad will converge on the Abatek Sports Ground from today through Sunday as the National Athletics Trials begin in Lagos. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast. This was compiled by Abiola Fagbalagun. Thank you, Lagos, for listening. My name is Mike James. Beautiful afternoon to you.